Olivia sat in the meeting room surrounded by Earth's top leaders. Their faces showed disbelief as she finished explaining the alien queen's proposal. Marriage? Admiral Beth Winters slammed her hand on the table. This has to be some kind of joke or a translation error. It's not, Olivia said. Queen Zara Vile was very clear. She called it a union between our worlds with me as the bridge. The room erupted with voices. Some people laughed nervously. Others looked angry. A few seemed thoughtful. General Lisa Porter raised her hand for silence. Lieutenant Mason, please explain again what will happen if we refuse. Olivia took a deep breath. War. The Queen said her generals want to take Earth by force. They see our planet as a prize to be won for its resources. And you believe her? Asked Dr. Sue Grant, the head scientist. I do, Olivia said. When she spoke in my mind, I could feel her honesty. She doesn't want war, she's offering an alternative. Admiral, Winters shook her head. We don't give in to threats. Earth doesn't trade people like bargaining chips, even to aliens. Kate Simmons, the intelligence officer, spoke up. Our scans of their ship show technology far beyond ours. Their weapons could destroy our cities in minutes. We should at least consider all options. The debate went on for hours. Olivia sat quietly, thinking about her strange meeting with Zara Vile. There had been something in the Queen's eyes, something like sadness or worry. Lieutenant Mason, the President said finally, you'll return to the alien ship tomorrow. Tell this Queen that Earth needs more information before we can respond to her proposal. Ask about her intentions. Find out what this marriage would really mean. That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She kept hearing Zara Vile's voice in her head. You have to marry me. What did it really mean to marry an alien queen? Would she have to live on their ship forever? Would it be a real marriage or just a symbol? As she tossed and turned, she remembered something else the Queen had said, something she hadn't told the others. Just before Olivia had left the alien ship, Zara Vale had whispered, there is a third option, but only you can discover it. What third option? What was the Queen not telling her? Olivia got out of bed and went to her computer. She pulled up all the data they had on the alien language. For hours, she studied the patterns, looking for hidden meanings. Just before dawn, she found something. The Nelfim language used not just sounds, but biochemical markers, tiny particles in the air that carried meaning. When the Queen had said, marriage, the chemical signature suggested something different, a genetic bond, a biological linking of species. This wasn't just a political union. It was something deeper and stranger. The next morning, Olivia returned to the alien ship. This time she felt less afraid. She walked confidently through the glowing corridors to the grand chamber. Queen Zara Vile waited for her. Today, the Queen wore a flowing robe that seemed to be made of liquid metal. It moved around her like water, catching the light from floating orbs that drifted through the room. You have returned, the Queen said, her voice flowing into Olivia's mind. Have your leaders made their decision? They need more information, Olivia said. And so do I. This marriage you propose, what exactly would it mean? What would happen to me? What would happen to Earth? The Queen's skin rippled with colors. She gestured with her forearms, and the floating orbs moved closer, surrounding them both. Perceptive questions, Zara Vile said. The truth, then. The union would bind you to me and to the collective. You would become part of our shared consciousness while keeping your individual mind. And Earth? Olivia pressed. Your world would gain our protection. In return, we would gradually integrate your people into our empire. It would be slow. Generations would pass before the integration was complete. Olivia frowned. That sounds like colonization dressed up as marriage. It is survival, Zara Vale corrected. Her eyes turned a deep red. There are worse threats in the void between stars than my people, Olivia Mason. What threats? The Queen turned away. Some truths are too heavy for new minds. You are not ready. Olivia stepped closer to the Queen. If you want me to marry you, I deserve the whole truth. What are you afraid of? Why do you need Earth so badly? For a long moment, Zaraviel was silent. Then she raised one hand, and the orbs of light changed color. Images appeared in the air. Strange ships, weird distortions in space, stars going dark. The Devourer, Zaraviel said softly. A being of dark matter that consumes worlds. It hunts us, has hunted us across 12 galaxies. We need your world not just for its resources, but for its position. A hiding place the Devourer has not yet found. Olivia stared at the images. Why not just tell us this, ask for help or asylum? Would your leaders believe tales of cosmic monsters? Or would they see it as a trick, a lie to lower your defenses? The Queen's mental voice was bitter. We have tried honesty before on other worlds. It did not end well. Olivia didn't know what to believe. Part of her felt the Queen was telling the truth. Another part wondered if this was all an elaborate deception. I need time, Olivia said, and I need proof of this Devourer. Time is the one thing we lack, Zaraviel said, but I will show you proof. She held out one of her hands. Come with me now to another part of the ship. See with your own eyes why we are so desperate. Olivia hesitated, then took the Queen's hand. It felt cool and smooth, like polished stone, but there was warmth underneath. The Queen led her through corridors Olivia hadn't seen before. They went deeper into the ship, past strange machines and rooms filled with alien technology. Finally, they came to a massive door that opened silently as they approached. Inside was a vast chamber. It stretched farther than Olivia could see. Filling the space were thousands of transparent pods. In each pod floated an alien body, still and quiet. My people, Zaraviel said. Her mental voice was filled with sadness. All that remain of the Nelphim, 10,000 survivors from a civilization that once spanned 50 star systems. Olivia walked between the rows of pods, looking at the sleeping aliens. Some looked like Zaraviel. Others had different forms, some with 6 arms, some with wings, some with bodies made mostly of light. The Devourer destroyed our homeworld, the Queen continued. We have been running for 300 years. This ship carries the last of our kind. I'm sorry, Olivia said, and she meant it. The sight of these refugees preserved in their sleeping state touched her heart. But I still don't understand why marriage is the answer. Zaraviel placed a hand on one of the pods. The Nelphim, consciousness can be transferred across compatible species. It is how we have survived extinction before. Through the marriage bond, we can share our minds with humans, preserving our knowledge and culture even if our bodies perish. You want to put alien minds in human bodies? Olivia asked, alarmed. No, the Queen said. We want to create something new, neither fully Nelphim nor fully human, but a blend that takes the best of both. It would begin with you and me, then spread slowly to others who are willing. Before Olivia could respond, a loud alarm sounded throughout the ship. The Queen's skin turned pale white. Fear showed clearly in her changing eyes. What is it? Olivia asked. It has found us, Zaraviel whispered. The Devourer has arrived in your solar system. Lieutenant Olivia Mason stood at her station on the bridge of the spaceship Horizon. She was looking at her screen with tired eyes. For 3 years, she had been listening to the stars. As the ship's expert in alien languages, her job was to find patterns in the noise of space. Most days she heard nothing but static. Today was different. Captain, I'm picking up a signal, Olivia said. Her hands moved quickly over the controls. It's structured. Definitely not natural. Captain Diane Ford moved to her station. Source? Unknown, but it's strong and getting stronger. The main screen on the bridge flickered. Stars vanished as a massive ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It was huge, at least 5 times bigger than any human vessel. Its surface looked like crystal and changed colors like an oil slick in sunlight. Alarms blared across the ship. All stations, battle positions, Captain Ford ordered. Lieutenant Mason, what are they saying? Olivia listened to the signal again. Something about it felt familiar, like a song she had heard in a dream. It's repeating one phrase over and over. Send the one who hears. What does that mean? The captain asked. I think... Olivia swallowed hard. I think they're asking for me. The next few hours were chaos. Earth's defense ships surrounded the alien vessel. Leaders from every country argued about what to do. Scientists tried to learn more about the strange ship. Through it all, the message continued. Send the one who hears. Olivia sat in a room with military leaders and scientists. They all talked at once. We can't just send someone up there, Admiral Peters said. It could be a trap. If we don't respond, they might attack, another officer argued. Olivia spoke up. The message is meant for me. I don't know how I know, but I do. They want someone who understands their language. Admiral Peters shook her head. Absolutely not. We're not sending a junior officer as our first contact. With all due respect, Olivia said, standing up. I'm the only one who can understand their message. If we want to avoid a war, I need to go. After much debate, they agreed, but they didn't like it. 6 hours later, Olivia sat in a small shuttle heading toward the alien ship. She wore a special suit that would protect her from unknown environments. Her heart beat fast in her chest. Approaching docking point, the pilot said. Good luck, Lieutenant. The shuttle connected with the alien ship. A door opened in front of her. Olivia took a deep breath and stepped through. Inside, the ship was beautiful. The walls glowed with soft light. The floor felt solid but somehow alive under her feet. The air smelled like cinnamon and something else she couldn't name. Olivia followed a path of brighter light on the floor. It led her to a large room that reminded her of old churches on Earth. The ceiling arched high above her. Strange symbols covered the walls. She was not alone. A tall figure stood in the center of the room. Olivia's mouth opened in surprise. The alien was the most beautiful and scary thing she had ever seen. It stood about 7 feet tall with 4 arms. Its skin was black like polished stone, but reflected rainbow colors when it moved. Its eyes changed colors every few seconds. Above, its head floated a crown made of light and metal, not touching the alien but hovering there as if by magic. You understand our words? The alien said. But its mouth didn't move. The voice seemed to come from inside Olivia's own head. Yes, Olivia managed to say. Her voice shook a little. I'm Lieutenant Olivia Mason from Earth. I'm here to talk with you peacefully. The alien walked around her slowly. Olivia felt like a bug under a microscope. The alien moved with grace, its 4 arms making small gestures in the air. You are different from the others of your kind, the alien said in her mind. Your brain patterns match the old songs. Old songs? Olivia asked. The music of minds that can join with ours. Very rare. Very precious. The alien came closer. Olivia could feel a strange energy coming from its skin. It was like standing near an electric fence, but not painful. I am Zara Vale, the alien said. Queen of the Nelphim Collective, ruler of the 7 light systems, protector of the final colony. Olivia bowed her head slightly. It's an honor to meet you, Queen Zara Vile. The alien queen tilted her head. Her eyes turned a deep purple color. Your people are afraid of us. We've never met beings from another world before, Olivia explained. Fear is a natural first reaction, but we want peace. Peace, Zara Vale repeated, a simple word for a complex state. My generals wish to take your world by force. They see its resources, its position in this system. They see a prize to be won. Olivia felt cold fear run down her spine. And what do you see, Queen Zara Vile? The alien queen moved even closer. She was now just inches from Olivia. One of her 4 hands reached out, almost touching Olivia's face, but stopping just before contact. I see potential, Zara Vile said. I see a way to avoid the spilling of blood. I see a future where our peoples might both survive what is coming. What is coming? Olivia asked. The queen didn't answer that question. Instead, she leaned in until her face was very close to Olivia's. Her eyes swirled with colors Olivia had no names for. "There is an ancient custom among my people," Zaravile said, her mental voice now soft and intense. "A way to bind worlds together without war." Olivia could barely breathe. The Queen's presence was overwhelming, filling all her senses. Zaravile looked at Olivia intently and whispered, "You have to marry me." Olivia's knees nearly gave out. "What? I don't... That can't be what you mean." "It is exactly what I mean," the Queen said. "A union between our worlds. You as the bridge. The alternative is war, Lieutenant Mason. War that your people cannot win." Olivia struggled to find words. I need to discuss this with my leaders." "Of course," Zaravile said, stepping back at last. "You have 3 of your Earth days to decide, marriage or war. The choice belongs to you, Olivia Mason, the one who hears our songs." As Olivia returned to the shuttle, her mind raced. How could she explain this to her superiors? How could she make them understand that an alien queen had just proposed marriage as an alternative to war? And why, despite everything, did a small part of her find the idea strangely appealing? With her new awareness, Olivia could sense the Devourer clearly now. It wasn't just a dark spot in space. It was a living thing, ancient and hungry, that existed in multiple dimensions at once. Only a small part of it showed in normal space. The rest was folded into realms humans couldn't perceive. "We need to return to the command center," Olivia said, her voice sounding strange to her own ears. She could feel Zaravale's knowledge guiding her words. "I have an idea." They ran through the failing ship, moving with perfect coordination. Olivia knew exactly where to go, which corridors were safe, which were not. The Nelphim they passed looked at them with wonder, seeing the glow that surrounded their joined bodies. The command center was in chaos. Parts of the ceiling had collapsed. Officers worked desperately at their stations as the ship continued to break apart around them. "Your Majesty," one officer called out, then stopped in confusion when he saw Olivia. "What has happened?" "The union is complete," Zaravale said. "This is Olivia Zara, the first of a new kind." Olivia stepped forward. With her human mouth, she spoke Nelphim words that came from Zaravale's knowledge. "The Devourer attacks through dimensional rifts. Our current weapons can't reach it where it truly exists." She moved to a control panel and began typing with sure fingers. "But we can create a dimensional fold of our own, a mirror to reflect its energy back at itself." The Nelphim officers stared at her in amazement. One of them asked, "Is such a thing possible?" "Theoretically," Olivia Zara said. "The Queen's mind holds ancient science that was lost when our homeworld fell. Combined with human intuition, we might find a way." They worked quickly, Olivia's hands flying over the alien controls as if she had used them all her life. Through her connection to Zaravale, she understood the ship's systems perfectly. On the view screens, they could see the Devourer growing closer. It had consumed nearly a third of the Nelphim ship already. Where it touched, matter simply vanished, converted to energy the creature absorbed. "We need more power," Olivia Zara said. "Divert everything except life support to the main deflector, array." "That would leave us defenseless," an officer protested. "We are already defenseless against this enemy," Olivia Zara replied. "This is our only chance." As the ship's remaining energy flowed to the deflector, Olivia Zara guided the process with both human creativity and Nelphim precision. She could feel the presence of the Nexus, the combined consciousness of all Nelphim, supporting her, offering wisdom from countless generations. "Earth is sending ships," another officer reported. "They're asking how they can help." Olivia reached out with her mind, connecting to the Earth vessels through the Nelphim communication system. In her thoughts, she spoke to Admiral Winters. "Keep your distance," she warned. "This enemy is beyond your weapons. We're attempting something that might drive it away, but we need space to work." The Admiral's voice came back, filled with shock. "Lieutenant Mason, is that you? What's happened to you?" "I've changed," Olivia replied simply. "To save us all. Trust me, Admiral." Please. After a pause, Admiral Winters responded, "We'll hold position at Jupiter's orbit. Good luck, Lieutenant. Or whatever you are now." Olivia Zara focused back on their desperate plan. The deflector array was now glowing with accumulated energy. The ship groaned as power surged through systems never designed to channel so much force. "The array is at maximum capacity," an officer reported. "It cannot hold much longer." "On my mark," Olivia Zara said. "Release the energy in a focused beam directly at the center of the Devourer." The officers took their positions, ready to carry out the command. Olivia Zara placed her hands on the main control panel, feeling the ship's systems respond to her touch. "Now," she ordered. A beam of intense light shot from the front of the Nelphim ship, striking the darkness of the Devourer. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the beam began to bend. It curved through space, following the dimensional distortions created by the Devourer's presence. The beam twisted into impossible shapes, forming a complex knot of energy that wrapped around the cosmic predator. "It's working," Olivia Zara whispered. "The beam is creating a dimensional mirror, reflecting the Devourer's own energy pattern back at it." The officers watched in amazement as the darkness began to recoil. The Devourer's expansion stopped, then reversed slightly. It seemed confused, unable to process the reflected energy, but the strain on the ship was too great. Systems failed across the vessel as the power drain exceeded safe limits. The deck plates beneath their feet began to buckle. "We can't maintain this output," an officer warned. "The ship is breaking apart." Olivia Zara could feel it too. The beautiful crystal vessel that had carried the Nelphim across the stars was dying, but they needed more time to fully drive away the Devourer. "There is another source of power," Zara Vile's voice said through Olivia's lips. "The Nexus itself." The officers looked horrified. "The Nexus? But that would mean the end of our collected history," Olivia Zara finished. "Yes. But if we don't use it, there will be no future for either of our peoples." The decision was impossible. Sacrifice the soul of an entire civilization to save its body. Yet in their joined mind, Olivia and Zara Vile reached the same conclusion. "Prepare to channel the Nexus energy through the deflector," Olivia Zara commanded. "I will connect directly to guide the flow." Before anyone could protest, she moved to a central platform in the command center and placed her hands on two crystal pillars. Through these, she could link to the Nexus at the heart of the ship. The connection was overwhelming. Suddenly, Olivia's mind was filled with millions of voices, the stored consciousness of every Nelphim who had ever added their knowledge to the collective. Their combined wisdom stretched back hundreds of thousands of years. "Help us," Olivia Zara pleaded to the ancient minds. "Help us save what remains." The voices responded, not with words, but with understanding. The Nexus knew what was needed. Slowly it began to release its energy, flowing through Olivia Zara's joined body and into the ship's systems. The deflector beam doubled in brightness, then tripled. The dimensional mirror grew stronger, pushing back against the Devourer with increasing force. On the view screens, they could see the cosmic predator retreating. It pulled away from the Nelphim ship, its darkness shrinking as it withdrew through dimensions, seeking easier prey. But the victory came at a terrible price. As the Nexus emptied its energy, the voices in Olivia Zara's mind began to fade. Generations of knowledge, art, philosophy, and science were being consumed to power their last defense. Tears ran down Olivia's face as she felt these ancient minds disappearing. Zara Vale's grief joined with hers, a sorrow too deep for words. Finally, the Devourer was gone. The stars reappeared in the space where it had been. The deflector beam shut down as the last of the Nexus energy was spent. Olivia Zara collapsed to the floor. The officers rushed to help her, their faces showing both relief and deep sadness. "It's retreating from the solar system," one reported. "You did it. You drove it away." "For now," Olivia Zara said weakly. "It will return someday. But we've bought time. Decades, perhaps centuries." The ship around them was barely functioning. Over half of it had been consumed by the devourer. What remained was failing. Systems shutting down one by one. Status of the stasis chambers? Olivia Zara asked. 60% intact, an officer replied. About 6,000 of our people survived. 6,000 out of 10,000. And the Nexus, the soul of their civilization, was gone. The price of victory had been steep indeed. We need to reach Earth, Olivia Zara said, struggling to her feet. Our ship cannot be repaired. We need a new home. The officers looked uncertain. Will the humans accept us, after all that has happened? Olivia smiled sadly. They will when they understand the truth, that we saved them, that the real enemy is still out there, waiting, that we need each other to survive what's coming. She felt Zara Vale's presence in her mind, supporting her, loving her. Their union had been forced by desperate circumstances, but it had become something beautiful and powerful. Send a message to Earth, Olivia Zara commanded. Tell them we're coming home. 3 months had passed since the battle with the Devourer. The remains of the Nelphim ship now orbited Earth as a station, a watchful guardian against the darkness between stars. Olivia stood at a window in the new Earth-Nelphim Council chamber, looking down at the blue planet below. She was changed in ways both visible and invisible. Her skin now had a slight shimmer to it, and her eyes changed colors with her emotions, just like a Nelphim. Inside her mind, Zara Vale's presence was a constant companion, their thoughts flowing, together in harmony. They're ready for you, said Kate Simmons, who had become Earth's main diplomat to the Nelphim. Olivia nodded and turned from the window. The council chamber was a blend of human and Nelphim design, practical Earth furniture mixed with the glowing crystal technology of the aliens. Around a large table sat representatives from both species, waiting to hear her report. Thank you, all for coming, Olivia began. Though she still looked mostly human, her voice carried the dual tones of her joined nature. The integration of our peoples continues to progress well. The first volunteer pairings have been completed successfully. After much debate, Earth's leaders had agreed to allow willing humans to join with compatible Nelphim in the same way Olivia had joined with Zara Vale. The process was carefully monitored and completely voluntary. So far, 50 pairs had been created, each becoming a bridge between the species. And the Devourer? Asked Admiral Winters, who now led Earth's new space defense force. No sign of it in this sector, Olivia replied. But our new long-range sensors are detecting similar energy patterns in distant galaxies. It's still out there, still hunting. We estimate we have at least 50 years before it might return to this system. The Admiral nodded grimly. Then we have 50 years to prepare. With the combined knowledge of both our species, we're making rapid progress, Olivia continued. The new hybrid ships are nearly complete. They can travel faster and farther than anything either of us built alone. This was the most visible sign of their successful union. Spacecraft that used human creativity and Nelphim technology. The first fleet of these ships would soon begin exploring the nearby stars, looking for allies against the coming darkness. But not everyone was happy with the changes. Some humans feared the aliens, viewing the unions as a slow takeover of Earth. Some Nelphim mourned the loss of their pure culture, diluted now by human influences. There have been more protests in the North American sector, reported General Porter. A group calling themselves Pure Earth is gaining supporters. They claim the joined pairs are no longer human. And they're right, Olivia said calmly. We are neither human nor Nelphim. We are something new. But that doesn't make us a threat. After the meeting, Olivia walked through the station's gardens. The Nelphim had created these spaces to grow plants from their lost homeworld alongside Earth species. The mixing of flora mirrored the mixing of their peoples. Sometimes strange, sometimes beautiful, always interesting. Kate joined her in the garden. That was a good meeting. But I worry about the growing resistance. Not everyone shares your vision of our future together. Change is always difficult, Olivia said. Humans fear what they don't understand. So do the Nelphim. That's why the Joined pairs are so important, we bridge that gap. Kate looked at her curiously. Do you ever regret it? Joining with Zaravel? Olivia smiled. How can I regret something that saved two worlds? Besides, it's not what most humans think. I didn't lose myself. I gained another perspective, another way of seeing the universe. Is she with you now? Listening? Always, Olivia said. But it's not like having a voice in my head. It's more like having a broader mind. I'm still me, but with her wisdom and memories added to my own. And she is still herself, but with my humanity added to her alien nature. They walked in silence for a moment. Then Kate asked, What was it like? The moment when you joined? Olivia's eyes turned a soft purple as she remembered. It was like seeing colors I never knew existed, like understanding music in a whole new way, terrifying and wonderful at the same time. She touched a flower that glowed softly in the artificial twilight. The hardest part wasn't joining with Zaravel, it was losing the nexus. The nexus, the collected consciousness of the Nelphim civilization, had been sacrificed to drive away the devourer. Though Zaravel had saved some of its knowledge in her own mind, much had been lost forever. We're starting a new nexus, Olivia explained. The joined pairs are adding their memories and knowledge to it. It will never replace what was lost, but it will be something unique, a blend of human and Nelphim wisdom. Later that night, Olivia sat alone in her quarters, meditating. This was when she could most clearly communicate with the Zaravel part of herself. Their thoughts merged more completely in this quiet state. The humans still struggle to accept us, Zaravel's thoughts said within their shared mind. Some do, Olivia agreed. But many are coming around. The new medical treatments developed from Nelphim biology have helped change minds. This was one of the first benefits of their union, cures for several human diseases using Nelphim biological knowledge. It was hard to fear aliens who saved your child from cancer. The Pure Earth movement worries me, Zaravel thought. Their leader speaks of removing the alien infection from their planet. Extremists exist in any population, Olivia replied. We must show them that our way offers a better future for everyone, that we are stronger together than apart. Their meditation was interrupted by an urgent call. Olivia Zara, please come to the sensor lab immediately, said a voice over the communication system. When she arrived at the lab, she found several scientists, both human and Nelphim, gathered around a display. We've detected something unusual, said Dr. Martin Lee, the head scientist. A signal coming from a star system about 20 light years away. Olivia looked at the data. Is it the devourer? No, Dr. Lee said. It's artificial. Definitely from an intelligent species. And it's aimed directly at us. This was unexpected. Neither humans nor Nelphim had detected signs of other advanced civilizations in this part of the galaxy before. Can we decode it? Olivia asked. We're trying, Dr. Lee replied. But it's unlike anything we've seen. It might take weeks or months. Olivia felt excitement from both parts of herself. A new species, perhaps a potential ally against the devourer. Or another threat, Dr. Lee cautioned. We don't know their intentions. Keep working on it, Olivia said. I'll inform the council tomorrow. This could change everything. As she left the lab, Olivia felt a strange mix of hope and concern. The universe had just become larger and more complex. The joined consciousness of human and Nelphim might not be enough to face what was coming. The next morning, Olivia stood before the Earth Nelphim Council again. She explained about the signal and what it might mean. First contact with a third species, Admiral Winters said thoughtfully, just when we were getting used to our first aliens. This is why the joining of our peoples is so important, Olivia said. Alone, neither humans nor Nelphim might survive what's coming. Together, we have a chance. And with more allies, those chances improve. The council voted to send a response to the mysterious signal. It would take 20 years for their message to reach the distant star, and another 20 for any reply to return. But they were thinking in longer terms now, planning for a future that stretched centuries ahead. After the meeting, Olivia returned to the garden. She sat by a pool where earth fish swam alongside strange Nelfim water creatures. The two species, kept to themselves at first, but over time, they had learned to coexist. Just like us, she thought, and felt Zaravil's agreement in her mind. A small girl approached, looking at Olivia with curiosity. She was one of the station's children, born to human parents but growing up alongside Nelfim. "Are you the queen?" the girl asked. Olivia smiled. "I was, and I wasn't. It's complicated. Mom says you're special, that you're both human and alien at the same time." "That's true," Olivia said. "I'm what humans and Nelfim can become together." The girl thought about this. "Will I be like you someday? That will be your choice," Olivia said gently. "When you're older, no one becomes joined unless they truly want to." The girl nodded, satisfied with this answer. She looked up at the stars visible through the garden's transparent dome. "Are there more aliens out there, besides the Nelfim?" "Yes," Olivia said, thinking of the mysterious signal. "Many more, I think. Some will meet soon. Others, perhaps never. Will they be our friends?" Olivia's eyes shifted color as she considered this question. "Some will, others won't, just like people." The girl accepted this wisdom with the easy understanding of children. She waved goodbye and ran off to join her friends, a mix of human and Nelfim children playing together without care for their differences. Watching them, Olivia felt a deep sense of rightness. This was why she had accepted Zaravil's strange proposal all those months ago. Not just to save Earth from the Devourer, but to create something new and wonderful. A future where different species could join together, becoming stronger than they had been apart. "You have to marry me," the alien queen had whispered. At the time, those words had seemed frightening and strange. Now they felt like the beginning of a much greater story, one that would continue long after Olivia's lifetime. The queen's ship shook violently. Lights flickered as Zaravel grabbed Olivia's arm and pulled her toward a different corridor. "We must reach the command center," the queen said, her mental voice tight with fear. They ran through the ship, passing other Nelfim who had awakened from their pods. The aliens moved with purpose, their bodies glowing with different colors as they prepared for battle. "What exactly is this Devourer?" Olivia asked as they ran. "A cosmic predator," Zaravel answered. "It exists partially in dark matter, which makes it almost impossible to detect until it's too late. It feeds on the energy of living worlds." They reached a large room with a dome-shaped ceiling. The walls were transparent, showing the space around them. Olivia gasped at what she saw. Beyond Neptune's orbit, a patch of space looked wrong. Stars were vanishing as if being erased. In their place was a growing darkness that seemed to bend light around it. "That's it?" Olivia whispered. "That is its shadow in your reality," the queen said. "Its true form exists in dimensions you cannot perceive." Nelfim officers worked at stations around the room. They were connected to the ship through tendrils of light that linked to their heads and hands. One of the officers approached the queen. "Your Majesty, the Devourer is approaching slowly. It hasn't detected us yet, but it will soon." "Prepare all defense systems," Zaravel ordered. "Position the ship between it and Earth." The officer looked surprised. "Between it and Earth? But Your Majesty, that would put us directly in its path." "I am aware," the queen said coldly. "Do as I command." As the officer hurried away, Olivia stared at the queen. "You're going to protect Earth, even though we haven't agreed to your proposal?" "If Earth dies, we all die," Zaravel said simply. "The Devourer would come for us next. At least this way, your people have a chance." Olivia felt a mix of emotions. Gratitude, confusion, and growing respect for the alien queen. "I need to warn my people about what's happening." Zaravel nodded and gestured to a communication station. "Speak to them, but hurry." Olivia sent an urgent message to Earth, explaining about the Devourer and what the Nelphim were planning to do. She watched on a screen as panic spread across her world. Military leaders scrambled to respond. Scientists tried to detect the invisible threat. Meanwhile, the Queen's ship moved into position, its crystal structure glowing with power as it prepared to face the cosmic predator. "Our weapons can only slow it down," Zaraviel explained as they watched the darkness grow larger. "We cannot destroy it. No one can. But we might be able to divert it, send it in another direction away from your solar system." "At what cost?" Olivia asked. The Queen's eyes turned a deep blue. "Most of our power systems will be destroyed. Many of my people will die. But some might survive." Olivia shook her head in wonder. "Why would you sacrifice so much for us? You barely know humans." "Because I have seen inside your mind, Olivia Mason," the Queen said softly. "Your species has potential we once had. Creativity, resilience, compassion even in the face of fear." The ship shuddered as the Devourer sensed them and changed course, heading directly for the Nelphim vessel. "It's coming," one of the officers called out. Zaraviel turned to Olivia. "There is something you should know before the battle begins. The marriage I proposed. It would not be like human marriage. If we joined, our minds would merge partially. We would share thoughts, memories, feelings." "Why tell me this now?" Olivia asked. "Because soon you will need to make a choice," the Queen replied. "And you deserve to make it with full knowledge." The battle began without warning. The darkness reached out with tendrils that touched the ship's outer hull. Where they connected, the crystal structure began to dim and crack. The Nelphim fought back with weapons unlike anything Olivia had ever seen. They fired beams that bent light and time, creating bubbles of altered physics that temporarily contained the Devourer's expansion. But each defensive measure drained their ship's energy. Sections of the vessel went dark as power was diverted to the weapons. "It's too strong," an officer reported. "We can't hold it back much longer." Zaraviel stood tall, her forearms moving in complex patterns as she directed the battle. "Bring more power from the stasis section. Wake only essential personnel." "The stasis pods will fail if we take that much power," another officer warned. "Better some survive than none," the Queen said grimly. Olivia watched as the Nelphim fought desperately against an enemy they couldn't defeat. These aliens, who her people had feared as invaders, were now dying to protect Earth. A massive jolt threw everyone to the floor as part of the ship tore away. The Devourer had broken through their first line of defense. "Seal all breached sections," Zaraviel ordered as she rose to her feet. "Redirect survivors to the core chambers." The Queen turned to Olivia. "We need to go deeper into the ship. The command center is no longer safe." They ran through corridors where emergency lights flashed. The ship continued to shake and break apart around them. Other Nelphim ran past them, some injured, all with fear in their changing eyes. "Where are we going?" Olivia asked. "To the heart of the ship," Zaraviel replied, "where the final option waits." They reached a small chamber at the very center of the vessel. Inside was a glowing crystal sphere about the size of a beach ball. It pulsed with energy, shooting out beams of light that connected to panels around the room. "This is the Nexus," the Queen explained. "It contains the combined consciousness of all Nelphim who have ever lived. Our history, our knowledge, our very souls." Olivia stared at the beautiful object. "It's incredible." "It is also our last hope," Zaraviel said. "And now I must ask you again, Olivia Mason. Will you marry me?" "Here? Now?" Olivia was shocked. "With that thing about to destroy us all?" The Queen nodded. "The Union would give you access to Nelphim knowledge. Together we might find a way to save both our peoples." "But you said it would change me," Olivia said. "That our minds would merge?" "Yes," Zaraviel admitted. "You would remain yourself, but with my thoughts and memories added to yours, and I would carry part of you within me. We would become something new." Another explosion rocked the ship. The lights dimmed briefly. "The Devourer has breached the inner hull," a voice announced over the ship's communication system. "All personnel, prepare for final protocols." Zaravale looked at Olivia with eyes that now glowed white. There is no more time. Choose, Olivia Mason. Die as only human, or live as something more. Olivia thought of Earth, of her family and friends, of all the people who would die if the Devourer wasn't stopped. She thought of the Nelphim refugees fleeing across the stars, now making a last stand to protect a world not their own. How does it work? She asked finally. This marriage? The Queen smiled, her face lighting up with hope. Give me your hands. Olivia reached out, and Zaravile took her hands in two of her forearms. The Queen's other two hands reached up and removed the floating crown from above her head. The crown separated into thousands of tiny lights that swirled around them both. The light settled on their joined hands, creating a glowing web that connected them. Our minds touch first, Zaravale explained. Then our genetic codes begin to blend. The process is not painful, but it cannot be reversed. Olivia took a deep breath. Will I still be me after? You will be you and more, the Queen said, as I will be me and more. Together we will be something neither of our peoples has seen before. The ship shook again, more violently this time. Warnings blared through the communication system. Hull breach in Section 12, power failure in the stasis chambers. All Nelphim to emergency positions. Olivia looked into the Queen's changing eyes and made her choice. I consent to this marriage. The Queen's skin glowed with joy. And I consent to be joined with you, Olivia Mason of Earth. The lights around their hands grew brighter, spreading up their arms and surrounding their bodies. Olivia felt a strange sensation, like warm water flowing through her mind. New thoughts, memories, and feelings began to appear. She saw the Nelphim homeworld, a beautiful planet with 3 moons. She felt the terror as the Devourer came, eating the stars around it. She experienced the long flight across the galaxy, the desperate search for safety. At the same time, Zaravale was experiencing Olivia's memories, childhood on Earth, years of study to become a linguist, the wonder of joining the space program. The light grew so bright that Olivia had to close her eyes. When she opened them again, everything had changed. She was still herself, but she was also something more. Knowledge filled her mind. Ancient Nelphim science, the secrets of dark matter, ways to bend space and time. And she could feel Zaravale not as a separate being but as a part of herself. The Queen, her other half, smiled at her. Now we are one, she said, both out loud and in Olivia's mind. Now we can fight.